With a mission to deliver fiscally responsible, highly dependable services to the citizens of our community and the region. With integrity and professionalism, this is the City of Albany Commission meeting with Mayor Bo Duro, John Howard, Ward 1, Mayor Pro Tem Matt Fuller, Ward 2, BJ Fletcher, Ward 3, Chad Warbington, Ward 4, Bob Langstaff, Ward 5, Demetrius Young, Ward 6, with Interim City Manager Stephen Carter, City Clerk Sonia Tolbert, and City Attorney Nathan Davis. This is the City of Albany Commission meeting.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the special call meeting of the Albany City Commission, June 24th, 2021. We'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Hicks, could you call the roll, please?
Ward 1?
Here.
Ward 2?
Here.
Ward 3?
Here.
Ward 4?
Ward 4's here.
Ward 5?
Here.
Ward 6?
Here.
Mayor.
Mayor's here. Ms. Hicks, could we read the call, please, sir?
Mayor, point of order. Yes, point of order, Mayor. We have media that's in the audience that I understand are not registered. I just want to know what our plan is for media control, and I understand these are kind of the galleries that media kind of stay at, but
Okay.
I feel uncomfortable with media and cameras and free motion and free reign in the room.
Okay.
So I just texted Ms. Phyllis, and she said they're not registered.
Okay. You don't mind them recording as long as they stay in position, do you?
They need to come join the other media outlets because, you know, they may be feminine individuals. They're maybe having some side conversations in the back. If they're here to video the commission operations, they need to come join the media outlets up front.
Yeah, they're covering Reverend Nelson. Sir? Yes, sir. It's a church project, but would you like them to come forward? Is that what you want?
We'll let the police make the call. Chief Smith, Chief Smith is filling in for Chief Pursley. I mean, it's not my call. It's what are our standards as a city, and what's our standards from a security standpoint?
I said not having the policy on hand with me right now, as long as they're not putting anybody at safety risk and they're not behind, if that makes you feel uncomfortable, as long as they're in the general audience and not just, you know, making anybody feel uncomfortable, then I don't have an issue with them being in the gallery.
Is that agreeable?
I do think you need to have a media policy on hand so we can follow it. I cannot just stand up here and make stuff off the top of my head without knowing what that policy is.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate it, Chief. Is that okay?
It's not okay. I believe media should be in the two media galleries where WLB, South Georgia TV, Fox, WFX, you know, they're always right there. That's what we're comfortable with. When media's in different places with microphones and filming people in the crowd, it creates a distraction to me. So, okay. I mean, I'm one of 7, so okay. I'm just telling you.
Well, Mr. Mayor, if I may speak, there is no such thing as a media gallery. That's just been traditionally where the cameras have been set up. Cameras are set up in the back of the room. Cameras have been all over. Our local paper usually is walking around the room taking pictures during meetings. So there is no standard. There is no policy. So to kind of try to set up a policy ad hoc, as the chief said, I don't think that's the best practices. We just need to gather together as a board to figure out what those policies are going to be moving forward. But this is the people's house. This is a public space, and you know, minus anything that could be unsafe for us and the citizens. I think we should allow the media to be free and not try to be controlled by some arbitrary arbitrary actions or arbitrary thoughts about where is a designated site for them to be.
Okay. Gentlemen, would y'all just remain stationary? Is that acceptable? Okay, thank y'all, and welcome. So next, if we could proceed with the reading of the call, Ms. Hicks.
Dated June 23rd, 2021. Dear Mayor and Commissioner, there will be a special call meeting, virtual meeting, and in person on Thursday, June 24th, 2021 at 2 p.m. in Room 100 of Government Center Building located at 222 Pine Avenue, Albany, Georgia. The purpose of the meeting is to discuss and/or approve the following ordinance and resolution. 1, second reading of the fiscal year 2022 budget, that's the ordinance. And 2, the amendment of the MOU JCAR development, and that's the resolution. And it's signed sincerely, Stephen Carter, interim city manager. And it has been signed by Commissioners Howard, Fletcher, Fuller, Young, and the other commissioners were notified via email, and also the mayor.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Hicks. The, well, I do have a speaker appearance form, but this is a voting meeting, and I don't think it'd be appropriate to have someone speak, but if that's the decision of the board, but we'll go around the table, and if 2/3 majority want to hear the gentleman who has signed up to speak, we will do so. So, Ms. Hicks, could we call the roll on that question?
Ward 1?
Mr. Mayor, you said one person has signed up.
I think one person signed up. Yes, sir.
Okay, I can, since this is a budget here, now let he or she speak.
Mayor.
Okay. Ward 2, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mayor, there was no sign up. He actually submitted a speaker appearance form. So there was no sign up at all.
Well, okay, I stand corrected. A speaker appearance form. Okay.
Well, Mayor, as this is a special call meeting, I don't think the rest of the public was aware that we needed to have a speaker request form submitted for this meeting. So if we're going to do that, I think, you know, if the question is going to be called as to where we're going to allow people to speak, I think we need to go with the process of a sign-up sheet as, you know, as part of that, you know, part of that motion or request,
Okay. Well,
just to give, you know, fairness to
okay.
everybody that's here.
It's not a public hearing, so we don't have a sign-up sheet. So, but with that, can we go around the table again, Mr. Hicks, starting with Ward 1?
Ward 1?
Yeah.
Ward 2?
No.
Ward 3?
No.
Ward 4?
Mayor, just for clarification.
Yeah.
What exactly are we voting on? Like, can people come speak? Is it?
No.
Is it wild and free? Anybody
have-
come? Are we
we
gonna make
have-
a list, or what?
No, we
what
have
are we voting?
one gentleman who submitted a speaker appearance form, and this is a,
But he said he didn't. It was a public.
No.
no, that was a
Speaker appearance.
misunderstanding. What?
It was speaker appearance form, we didn't have a sign up
Yeah,
because
it's a speaker appearance form. I said who signed up, but it's a speaker appearance form.
Okay, so what is the motion?
We're not going to hear from the gentleman that submitted a speaker appearance form.
So we're voting on the one individual,
Yes.
not for a general public.
No.
Okay, so I vote no to the one individual.
Ward 5?
No.
Ward 6?
Yes,
Mayor.
No. Can we proceed to the first item?
I would like to make another motion,
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, inasmuch as this was not a, I guess, a procedural normalcy, if I can say that, since we did have one individual submit their thing and we voted it down, I think other people in the audience should have the opportunity at the board's will, and I would like to take a vote on it, to sign up to speak.
Okay.
So that's my motion.
Okay. Is there a second? Motion dies for lack of second. Okay, now we'll proceed to the first item on the agenda, which is the second reading of the 2022 budget. Mr. Carter.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. I again present to you the final version of the fiscal year 2022 budget. Again, the team, which includes every department within this city, has worked hard to present to you a fiscally responsible, balanced budget. And I'm asking you again to approve that fiscal year 2022 budget plan for $291,927,793. First of all, I have a fiduciary obligation to present to you a budget that efficiently and effectively provides for the sound operation within the city. Although I wear the term interim, please understand that no decision I make is based on an interim position. Every decision that I bring to you, every decision that I make as far as our team is concerned, it's because I'm your city manager. And I will continue to act as such until such time that you relieve me of that duty. This board is required by Georgia state statutes to pass a balanced budget on or before the last day of the previous fiscal year. This city's operating budget fulfills several important functions. It's a tool for financial management, a plan for providing services, a way to rationalize how tax dollars will be spent, and it's a mechanism for communicating policy, preferences, and goals to our public. This single document contains the city's financial, operational, and political plans for the next 12 months, making the budget one of the most important documents produced by our local government. The budget process involves conflict, resolution, competition for scarce resources, and developing alternatives and compromises. We, the employees of the city, work diligently to make each and every one of you look good. Regardless of when you call, or whatever the request is that you make, we do everything in our power to ensure that you have what you need. We take seriously any insinuation that the almost 1,000 professionals that we have working for this city has done anything that is not above board. We work hard every day to model professionalism, integrity, character, and accountability. I can assure you and every citizen in Albany that we purposely hold each other accountable for the integrity of everything that we bring before this board. Mayor and Commissioners, I present again to you the fiscal year 2022 budget, and I'm subject to any questions that you may have concerning that document.
Any questions for the city manager, Commissioner Howard?
No question.
Mayor Pro Tem,
No question.
Commissioner Fletcher,
No questions.
Commissioner Worthington,
No question.
Commissioner Langstaff,
No question.
Commissioner Young.
No questions, but I do have a comment. Thank you again, Mr. City Manager, for the hard work that you've done. I just have to say I do kind of take exception to, you know, I guess I guess perceived or the perception that we somehow or someone somehow has said something that would make the staff feel that we think you did something improper. I don't think that's the case. What I do think is the case is that we have a lot of things that this board is responsible for, and I think that some of the procedures that we have had have clouded a lot of decision-making and taken some of that decision-making away from this board. And that's what we have to speak directly to, whether it's a procurement issue, whether it's a way we do business, or in trying to do the fairest thing possible for the community. And, you know, I appreciate the staff and all their hard work, Mr. Brown, trying to be fiscally responsible, but this city has more than fiscal responsibility. It also has a responsibility to the community, it has a responsibility to its citizens. And we need to say somehow as a government that we care about the citizens. There is no better way, or there's no clearer way to show the community that you care about it and those citizens who live on the margins than by how we spend our money. That's how you show you care about the community, and that's a reflection of this board, not on the staff. I agree with you. We set policy, we set priorities, and we also set set those decisions in motion that are going to either lead to a better community or lead to a worse community. So understand that this budget is not just a document of fiscal responsibility. It's just not a function of law and what we have to do. It's also a function of what we care about and what we want to see for this community. This is not a great community for all the people, but we need to strive for that more and do that by putting the resources where we should. And that's all the comment I have on that, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Chair would entertain a motion.
Mayor, I'll make sure I say it correctly. So I'll offer the motion and ask for its adoption for a budget fiscal year 2022 budget.
Second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Commissioner Howard.
Mr. Mayor, and to the Board of Commissioners, as I stated several days ago, that the budget is $290 million plus. And just for the record, that based on this budget and what has been put into the budget, and I will continue to vote my conviction. I'm well aware that in this 2021-22 budget, that the $20 million of American Rescue money is in this budget, and from reading the President's executive order, that where those funds should go, and I'm going to vote my conviction. And another one is another case in point is that the solid waste contract that is in this budget, and as it's stated from talking, that there will be an increase of $2.69 of solid waste pickup. So I'm going to vote no when each individual has made their point. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
No discussion.
Commissioner Fletcher.
No discussion.
Commissioner Warmington.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Langstaff.
Nothing further.
Commissioner Young.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. I have a brief video I want to show from a Senate hearing that took place last Friday, where myself and Ms. Sherelle Byrd spoke concerning the American Rescue Plan. I think that is a discussion that has not been had in our community. It hasn't been other than the young lady from WLB who covered it, which they didn't do, much more discussion other than the one time they showed it. I don't think, the paper has covered it in the correct light, and it seems that even some of our elected officials on this board and others have not really looked at the American Rescue Plan and what it's about. This is and if they can go ahead and get it queued up, this is from a gentleman from Senator Warnock's office giving his advice to local elected boards about this first stash of money that is coming down. If they can go ahead and
Mayor,
Go
I
ahead.
object to this. We're here to make personal comments for the city manager.
Listen,
and to show a video, I think is
actually, I have the
See, I'm
floor
even
right now,
speaking
Mr.
right
Mayor.
now, and even-
Actually, I have
made
the
a
floor
point of
right
order
now.
to speak, and I'm
And
not even
whatever I
allowed to
need
make
to
a point of
express
order to
as a
speak. So,
city
Mayor, it's your
commissioner-
choice to decide who gets to talk
Excuse
when.
me.
Can you,
Could, Commissioner Young, would you yield the floor and allow Commissioner Worthington to raise?
No,
whatever
sir, I
point of
will
order?
not yield. I would like to make my presentation. If he wants to rebut, that's his.
Well, no, I mean, I don't really see that it's discussion. I was not gonna say anything about it. We're finna vote on this budget.
I understand that. I understand that. Part of the comment that I am making is that there is guidance from the federal government that some people have not taken a look at, and it's only 2 minutes at the most. So I would like to have that time to show that to the people, to this board.
It's 2
Now,
minutes.
It's 2 minutes.
Mayor, it doesn't matter if it's 30 seconds.
Okay,
This
I
is not the
does.
time to bring
You
an
can't make up the
outside
rules
party.
as,
You know,
Mr. Mayor, you
the
can't
president has
allow
given
other
us
commissioners
a
to make up the
document
rules
for the-
as they
for
go
the rule,
along.
and so this
We
is what we
have
ought to be operating
a
off of, not
procedure,
somebody's
we
opinion
have
in
a
a video.
procedure that each commissioner is to be heard. And for too long, and this is why we keep staying in this mode right here. You don't want to hear from the people. You don't want to hear other options. You don't want to hear other opinions on these matters. You just want to do what you want to do. That's what this is about.
No.
And that's what leads to bad government. That's what leads to the situations out here when we have people protesting because you can't stop and say, let everything be heard.
Is he speaking to you, Mayor, or is he speaking to me?
I'm speaking to the mayor. That's what's
To the mayor,
what's
to the
required.
mayor. Okay, all right. Here's my thinking. If the video's 2 minutes, I'm willing to watch it.
But I shouldn't even be limited by 2 minutes because I have the floor as a standing city commissioner.
Right.
He doesn't get to say how much I can talk and cannot talk.
This is not a commissioner speaking. This is a commissioner making a presentation in the middle of.
It's not about a presentation. It's a part of my speech. It's a part of me representing my ward, representing my constituents.
Okay.
So are you going to limit me? You sat up here and let a commissioner sit up here and insult me, and nobody said a thing the other day. But now you want to limit me when I'm trying to bring information to the community.
My inclination, if it's 2 minutes, I'll
Why
watch
am
it.
I being limited to 2 minutes, though? I'm
Chris
trying to
Young,
see,
you-
I'm a standing city commissioner.
You-
Nobody has ever talked about limiting any commissioner on what they have said at this podium.
Well,
But
nobody's
now,
ever-
in this space,
Okay.
in this time, you want to limit my speech.
No, I'm not limiting your speech. We're talking about a video, which is not a speech.
Listen, that's part of my presentation, or that's part of my speech as a commissioner.
Okay, all right. My inclination is.
Mayor, point of order.
Yes, sir.
I would ask Chief Smith, we have an individual that just approached the bench. And, this is not the time to approach the bench. We need to be in our seats.
She's a media member from WALB. This is absolutely outrageous. She's a media member from WALB. This is absolutely outrageous.
Okay. Let's address this issue here. My inclination is to let Commissioner Young play the video. Mr. Davis, that can be overruled by 2/3 majority, right?
I think a majority vote.
Okay, majority, okay. Let's call the
So
roll.
you're gonna put my right to speak as a commissioner up for a vote? No. Is that what you're going to do now? No. Is that what you're going to do, Mr. Mayor?
We are talking about a video.
No. What we're talking about is my right to speak as a sitting city commissioner elected by the people of Ward 6. You're going to put that up for a vote.
Well, the people in the gallery, if you please refrain from comments. It's a public meeting, but you're not here to participate. So, okay.
Mayor, I'll make a motion.
There is
I'll
no
make a
motion. There
that
is no
Commissioner
motion to
Young
be had
can speak
about
as
my
long as
right
he
to
wants
speak.
But the motion
There
is
is
not
no
to allow
motion
an
about
outside
my right
speaker
to
to come
speak
in and
as a
speak
city
in the
commissioner.
place of one of
all right.
us.
Show the
That we
video.
gotta
Commissioner
speak- we
Young.
gotta speak
Let's
for
see- Let's see the
ourselves.
video. Let's see the video, and then you have the floor.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I do appreciate the chance, Madam Chair, to allow the office of Senator Reverend Raphael Warnock to be here today to both speak with you all a little bit about the American Rescue Plan and specifically the state and local fiscal recovery funds. That is really the focus of today's discussion. Before I go into that, though, I do just want to briefly touch on the American Rescue Plan as a whole. I mean, it's rare that someone gets elected and has the chance to immediately enact a campaign promise. And Senator Warnock, along with Senator Ossoff, told Georgians that you send us to the Senate and we'll get this passed and we'll get the funds out to the people. And within weeks, that's what happened. And so we are here now as we start to work through the effects of that. Now, with the American Rescue Plan, there's a lot more than just this state and local recovery funds portion. Obviously, the media focused a lot at the first with the stimulus checks, money straight into the pockets. Now we're in this portion as local governments and state governments, county governments are all starting to get these tranches. The first 50% has hit almost everybody so far. The other 50% is on the way. I do just want to briefly mention, though, the other impacts that are coming around the corner. One of Senator Warnock's biggest pieces of pride is the expanded child tax credit. Starting in July, families are going to see hundreds of dollars per child coming directly to them. This is a chance to lift thousands of Georgian children out of poverty. And so this is a monumental moment, and Senator Warnock never takes for granted the fact that it was the people who elected him, his constituents here in Georgia, that are making that possible to impact so many people. So with the state and local fiscal recovery funds, we are in a moment where, as people have mentioned, there's a chance to make real dramatic impacts. But it's going to take everybody to stop for a moment and think about what they're doing. I think there is a thought, and I have been touring around in my area of Georgia. We have 21 counties that I service through outreach, and there are a lot of folks in county leadership that have gotten their funds, and they're hesitant. They're hesitant because they're not exactly sure what the rules will allow them to spend it on. They're afraid they spend it on this and then come to find out that wasn't actually the way they could spend it, and so now do they have to pay the money back? I think one thing that I would encourage everyone who's maybe seeing that out of their county or civic leadership is encourage a pause. Encourage a moment. This is not like the CARES Act. You do not have to spend this money right away. There is a runway of several years to stop and think about what we're doing and do this the right way that makes the biggest impact. I know it is easy. If you're in county leadership, you think a lot about infrastructure. It's one of the biggest headaches. It's one of the biggest things you see every day. I've talked with county leaders who have talked about their water and sewer. And I know a lot of folks here have made some comments, and I get that. I also see it from the county leadership side, though. They have outdated, crumbling water and sewage infrastructures. One county I talked to, the water comes in. By the time it reaches citizens' homes, they've seen 40% of that water just go away through leaks, through bad, crumbling, outdated pipes and pumps and everything. They're losing almost 50% of their water. So I understand why, if you're a county leader who's for years wanted to do that, that could be a knee-jerk, because you see on the list, and of everything on the list, it's one of the easiest ways to maybe spend the money. I get that. But as many have noted, there is going to be some infrastructure money on the way. There's going to be some type of infrastructure. Now, what does it look like? I don't know. We are fighting every day. Senator Warnock is fighting every day. Our legislative team is working on it every day. We don't know what it's going to look like at the end of the day, but something will come. This moment is a moment to take advantage of once-in-a-lifetime funds that are coming in. And so we have a chance to look at things like equity-focused services, to look at the hardest-hit communities and families, to look at things like addressing health disparities, social determinants of health, funding healthcare workers, public benefits navigators, remediation of lead hazards. We've got a chance to go to educational disparities through early learning services, additional resources for high poverty school districts, educational services like tutoring, after school programs. We've got a chance for individuals experiencing homelessness, affordable housing development, housing vouchers, residential counseling, housing navigation assistance, economic opportunity, loans, grants to our small business owners. This is a chance to spread this money throughout the entire community that makes a direct impact on every community. So I just again encourage you here who are both civic leaders, county leaders, but also just community leaders. I know we've got some powerful community leaders in this room and on Zoom. This is your chance to say, let's pause. If you're hearing ideas, if you're hearing projects come up that you have worries or concerns with, say, hey, let's pause. We don't have to spend this money right now. There's no ticking time bomb for us to get this money out the door next month, 2 months from now, at the end of this year. No, we've got several years to really put in a plan that helps. Now, I know at the same time, a lot of you are saying, but my residents need help now. I would say, let's figure out a way to walk and chew gum at the same time. We can do aid that helps our citizens in the moment while also laying the groundwork for long-term change and impact. So I applaud the work being done. You have a friend in Senator Warnock. Senator Warnock's office is here. You know, we are, I'll be honest, we are not a federal agency the size of the Treasury Department. But we are here to help. We have outreach directors in every corner of the state. We have a legislative team that is staffed out and ready to go. So anything that you have questions about or concerns about, feel free to reach out to our office. If we can't answer the question, and I'll be honest, having listened to some of the testimony in this room, many of you are far and away better experts on this than I am at this point. But if you have anything that we can't answer, we'll work to put in touch with Treasury Department officials, any other federal agencies that can get you the answers, because I understand that a lot of leadership are worried about just the numerous rules, but this bill was built to be flexible. The American Rescue Plan, and specifically this fund, was built and written in a way to provide flexibility. And so I think we need to have courage and boldness, and we need to embolden our leaders above us to be bold and courageous to use these funds in a way that makes the best impact. And I would lastly say, I want to float back a little higher level again, outside slightly of the scope, but this American Rescue Plan as a whole was, in fact, a once-in-a-lifetime generational impact. We're seeing it all start to come down to Georgia. I would note one thing that we're not quite there yet. The American Rescue Plan, and this is something Senator Warnock talks about a lot, the American Rescue Plan included significant federal funding that would allow Georgia to expand Medicaid, ensuring nearly 500,000 Georgians in the coverage gap and adding millions in additional funding to the state budget. That is...
So, Mr. Mayor, to summarize that, is that we can do something else. We have options. That's been the guidance from Senator Warnock's office, and maybe you don't want to hear him because he wasn't your choice, but it's funny that you can take the monies that are provided by the guys that you didn't vote for and say, okay, I want to put it on this project. You know, I'm actually dumbfounded right now in terms of the discussion and the tone of my colleagues who don't understand that you have to have a discussion. You have to be able to talk about the issue. You have to be able to get the information and make the right decision. But because you don't want to do that, because you don't want to, take some time and listen to people, we're going to continue to suffer in Albany. You can't come to this office and sit in this seat and think that you're going to change things because you got some type of special technology or you got some kind of special ability and not talk to people and what they need and what the community needs. And I just, you know, it's just beyond me that you can sit here. My constituents elected me to come down here and speak about their concerns. So if I have to sit here and filibuster for an hour, if that's what I'm able to do, that's what I'll do. But I don't want to do that. I want to have a real discussion. I want to bring information to people, transparency, and have us make a decision based on those things. All of this other stuff, that's you know, that's on you. You all are making Albany look bad. You all are making these meetings contentious when you don't want to have a simple discussion with the people. Again, that's the guidance from Senator Warnock's office. You know, as we move forward with this, I hope we can look at some budget amendments. As much as Mr. Warburton wants to shut my voice down, I was listening to him talk about using the American Rescue Plan to fund mental health things for the police just down here at the public safety meeting. I think that's a good thing. This man was sitting up here actually talking about listening to other commissioners who had the same issues with infrastructure. But you can't sit here and listen to the man or take the comments that are given as information. That was to your point. That was to your side of the argument. But you shut that down when you don't want to listen. And that's why you have people who are going to have their voices heard, be out here and just make it known that we're not going to take this anymore. We're not going to take this anymore. So you could try to make it look like out in the community that somehow all of these folks who you all have seen every day, dialogued with, communicate with, are somehow some type of threat. That's what I read in the paper, that somehow threatening to you. When you know that's not the case. These are people who you've talked to just days ago. Media members standing up in the middle of the gallery doing what they normally do. But in this instance, you calling the police on them as if they are a threat. These are the exact things that Mr. Body talks about when we talk about systemic racism. And that's where it comes from. So you make Albany look bad when you do those type things. Don't put it on them who you don't want to hear from. Put it on yourself.
Is that all, Commissioner Young?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We call the question. Ms. Hicks?
Ward 1,
No.
Ward 2,
Yes.
Ward 3,
Yes.
Ward 4,
Yes.
Ward 5,
Yeah.
Ward 6,
Yes. I'm sorry. No.
Mayor.
Mayor votes yes. The budget is adopted.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda, Mr. Davis, could you give us an update here? It is a amendment to the agreement with J-Car Development.
Yes, sir. This concerns one of the schedules attached to the resolution. I've been in touch with the administrative staff at JCAR and understand from them that they are in the process of getting this revision that we sent out to you this afternoon approved, and if it's the wish of you and your colleagues to approve the resolution, I would ask that also include that the mayor is not authorized to sign the resolution until our office receives signed documents from JCAR and 207 Pine LLC. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Davis. Any questions? Commissioner Howard?
Mr. Mayor, can Nathan go into more detail for those that may be watching, to say that what we are moving from 207 Pine Avenue to 211 North Avenue, and I'm astonished by this $3 million transaction. Mr. Carr.
Question that you like to have addressed, sir?
Okay, so the total budget is, the total project budget is $3 million, right? To move from 207 Pine to 211 North Jefferson Street?
Not actually, sir. A lot of that is, we purchased a building, we renovated the front section for the Care Here Clinic, which is already open in there now. The $3 million budget contains all of those things, not just the move.
Okay, right, based on the roof and things, parking decks and things of that nature, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so the city attorney did say that the mayor will not sign it until we get the agreement between.
I hope somebody will put that in the resolution. I feel comfortable that they will send it, and they're now happy with the dates and the other revisions that were in. This is Schedule 3A. So thanks for asking again. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. City Manager.
We good?
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem, any questions?
No questions.
Mr. Fletcher?
No questions.
Mr. Worthington?
No questions.
Mr. Langstaff?
No questions.
Commissioner Young?
No questions.
The chair would entertain a motion, and Ms. Davis, do we need to put some kind of stipulation or condition on the resolution?
Yeah, if somebody would move to approve the revisions that are before you that will take control, being pages 3A and 4A, and withhold authority for the mayor to sign the resolution until we receive signed documents from the other members of this MOU. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that to, add addendum that until we receive the other documents from the group, that you will not sign the agreement until that has been received.
Second.
Is that acceptable, Ms. Davis?
Well, signed documents meaning revisions 3A and 4A.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
With revision of 3A and 4A.
Is that acceptable, Ms. Davis?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
the revision to those schedules you just mentioned. Thank you very much.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion is second. Any discussion? Commissioner Howard?
No further discussion.
Mayor Pro Tem?
No discussion.
Mr. Fletcher?
No discussion.
Commissioner Worthington?
No discussion.
Commissioner Langstaff?
No discussion.
Commissioner Young?
No discussion.
Okay. Ms. Hicks, can we call the roll, please?
Ward 1,
Yeah.
Ward 2,
I abstain.
Ward 3,
Yes.
Ward 4,
Yes.
Ward 5,
Yes.
Ward 6,
Yes.
Mayor.
Mayor votes yes. Any other business to come before the commission? Mr. Howard?
Mr. Mayor, I don't want to do it, but Chief, can I ask him to come to the desk, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, we was in Public Safety Commission meeting, Public Safety meeting, and I asked the chief that since we will be in another several days embarking on the 4th of July, can the police chief put out some type of flyers or some type of announcement in reference of shooting of firecrackers that will be inundated during the 4th of July weekend, the time that they can do it and the time that they have to stop, because as I noticed, I had to call the police the other night because there was several big things I thought was a bomb falling. Is that we can do something on public television to let them know that the time that is, they can shoot it up to 9 o'clock p.m., but on the 4th, they can go up to 11:59 p.m., right, Chief?
Yes, sir, I believe it's midnight. I think it says midnight.
Okay,
11:59
and if
midnight.
we can put that out, because I just can imagine that under the coronavirus, everybody gonna get out and just let the hair down. So we wanna make sure the neighborhood is safe and the volume of noise is not too excruciating for the human being.
Can we get an announcement on Channel 16? Is that sufficient, Commissioner Howard?
Actually, I think one of the better things would be to have our PIO officers put out a public announcement to the media and to our citizens about what the procedures would be around the 4th of July, if that's acceptable.
Okay.
That's it, Mr. Mayor.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Nothing further?
Mr. Fletcher?
Well, I'm going to ask this, Commissioner Howard, so that because someone called me today, do we have a policy on the size? I mean, how, I know we have a sound ordinance, but do we have a policy on, I guess fireworks come in various sizes, et cetera, and some of them, when they go off, they just sound like a cannon. And I'd never heard that till, I mean, I've heard loud sounds, but do we have a certain amount they could fire off at one time or a certain size?
We just recently had a conversation in this board, with this board about the sound ordinance, and
Yeah.
fireworks were included in there. Nowhere in there does it address a size. It does address sound, but it doesn't address size.
Well, that's what I told them. I thought I'd not heard it, but, okay, thank you, Mr. Carter.
Mr. Warburton?
Mayor, I ask you once again, we need standards, we need improvements to our meetings. I would like, I think she's already left, but I do want to apologize to the WLB reporter. You know, where I'm sitting, I got to look through like 4 pieces of plexiglass. But I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to be very hypersensitive of movement in the room. And so when debate's going on and people begin to move around with a camera, like what happened last meeting, you know, the camera was all around us. And then what I spotted was somebody coming toward, you know, so I apologize because I didn't know who that was. But movement in the room, media locations, the thing with the video, I think more than my opinion, I think a video puts staff in a very awkward position because staff is given a video from one of us to show, and staff, what does staff do? Staff has to, I mean, but yet I think whenever we speak, you know, I'm speaking. I'm not depending on a video. I'm not asking staff to put something up. I'm not, you know, so I guess the videos, I guess by precedent, Mayor, you just allowed videos. So I guess from here on out, every time we want to speak, we're allowed to show video. So we may want to get clarity on that because that's just what happened today. But if somebody is on the agenda and they're presenting and a video is embedded in their presentation, sure, that would be appropriate because they're on the agenda to present an item to us. But for us just to ad hoc bring a video up, I think it puts staff, you know, because I'm sure staff was like, do I hit play? Do I not? Do I hit play? Okay, not. You know, wait, you know, and staff is here to serve us and serve the community. And that was very unfortunate that we put them in a position of doing that. So again, I just implore you, Mayor, we need standards. We need things are continuing just to be I guess I won't say the word chaos, but it's definitely kind of out of control. And I'm going to continue to look after the safety of all of us when there's things happening in the room that's not normal, that's not in control. And even us going to our cars, coming in, that sort of thing. I know the police is going to support us as best they can. But order, civility, respect, speak when you're supposed to be speaking, those are all things that we're all taught as we're growing up. And I expect those things should be happening in our city commission meetings. So,
Well,
thank you, Mayor.
Just let me say, Mr. Warmington, I mean, it's unfair to put it on the chair to come up. I think we need to, as a group, decide what the written procedures are going to be. And I think staff's going to be coming forward with that. And then this type of issue, either it'll be authorized or not authorized. And so that'll.
But Mayor, you didn't give us a chance to authorize it. You authorized it, so that was your decision. So,
Okay.
So next time, you know, I want to bring a video. I assume
Well,
I'm going to be allowed to bring a video.
I think until there's a rule prohibiting it, it would be authorized. But, you know, that's why we need written rules, I think.
Right, and also too, if I said it's a 2-minute video and it becomes a 7-minute video, that again
Okay.
is disingenuous, even presenting the the reasoning of showing the video, even that was not correct.
Okay. Is that all, Commissioner Warmington? Okay. Commissioner Langstaff?
Nothing further.
Commissioner Young?
Well, I don't even know what to say, Mr. Mayor, but the hypocrisy is astounding. That's all I can say. Again, I'll point back to the mass mandate meeting where we had individuals in here doing the same exact things, pounding on the windows. Police, if we didn't have this much police protection at the mass mandate as we had at this particular meeting, I might add. But we actually had to have an individual taken out of the gallery. I don't remember all these protestations about safety and people moving around the room. Never heard that before. When Mr. Fletcher from the Herald was going around the gallery taking pictures during the meeting, sometimes at the podium, sometimes out here moving around. Never seen that before. And again, the hypocrisy is astounding. What we have to do is figure out whether or not we know how to be good politicians. Part of that is being able to debate issues, discuss issues, let the information flow. But because we have people who want to control the narrative, because we have people who want to be double standard, practice double standards about what's allowed and what's not allowed. You know, people look at our government, particularly with the city, as some kind of, stepchild or not run very well. And when all we have to do is be transparent and let the discussion happen, let people's wishes be known. It's, maybe some people need to take some government classes, because understanding that as an elected official, serving in my capacity, if you ever want to turn on C-SPAN or whatever, those guys in our Congress present whatever they want, whether it's a video, whether it's a pie chart. I'm pretty sure I remember Mr. Warmington presenting a PowerPoint. He has his PowerPoint slides at the public safety meetings, and staff is here, like he said, to do what we ask. And I asked them to play a video, so why is that different for me than anybody else? That's quite confusing to me. If you're gonna make a statement that staff is here to kind of do what we asked them to do, I asked Mr. Dawson to forward this video to be played as a part of my presentation about this budget and what the federal government through Senator Warnock expects from this money. Now, maybe he feels like that's not his guy, so he doesn't want to hear from that guy. But again, that's not your place to decide what I can say or how I can speak or however long, and that's why I let it play. I was going to stay at 2 minutes, but when you want to try and limit me, when you want to try to limit what I say, then no, I'm not going to allow you to have a limit on me. I'm not going to allow you to talk to me about how I represent my ward, just as I would not do that to you. I would not do that to any commissioner or the mayor in terms of their representation. However you want to represent your community is however you want to represent your community. And I take offense to suggesting that, somehow I'm going to be controlled as to how I can speak. Even before, when we had the other discussion, before I can get anything out of my mouth, and if you want to talk about what we learned as children in terms of not talking over each other, it seems like every time I say something, I'm being interrupted from Mr. Warmington. So how is that practicing what you preach? Now, we can have the discussion, we can set standards, but I hope that you all understand that when we set those standards, we need to be talking about openness and transparency. From day one, that's all I ever wanted as in terms of interacting with this board is openness and transparency. And when we start these shutdown tactics and try to, what's disingenuous is to talk about, you know, I somehow feel unsafe when these are the same people that we've been governing with since you came on the board, Mr. Wormington. These are the same people. That young lady has been here for 2-3 months now. The people with ProPublica, I do think the young lady was out of line for coming up here on the dais, but she had the same issue. The reason she said she came behind the dais is because of the glare. So I think we need a little bit of more understanding. I think we need a little bit more levity, even when your point is not the other guy's point, even when your point of view doesn't jive with mine. You know, all we can do is have these discussions and listen to each other and take a vote. That's what civility is. That's what real civility is. Trying to control the discussion and control the narrative is not civility. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Commissioner. That concludes our business.